Okay, this is my second video. I kind of went through another tournament today, and I took a lot of notes, and I'm going to try to do a little more in-depth analysis. So I already kind of did some reviews, so I'm going to stumble along here. I've got the max HUD set up. I'm still learning to use that. This tournament, I think there was about 100 hands, but I selected about 27 that I definitely want to talk about. So I'll probably pull up the notes as well. This is one of the first hands of the tournament. And let me look at my notes here for this first tournament. And the note I have is, should hero be defending here, getting 5.25 to 1 and 125 bigs deep? And if we look at it, it comes around and it looks like I am getting 5.25 to 1 and I fold. So the outcome of the hand doesn't matter, but maybe should I be defending here? So I guess I can go to the defend chart, so let's go do that. Well, what I found out is that the big blind defense is just built for heads up pots, but still I'll pull it up anyway, and I can see that I have it versus a cutoff open. King 8 is definitely a call versus a tight MP. Versus a tight MP, 20-25%, it's not. I'm going to assume that I should be defending here because of the multiple players. But that is a good question I have for you. Should I have defended here? By default, I typically don't defend here. But I'm getting 5.25 to 1. Of course, you know, that's a great flop if I had stayed in, but that doesn't matter. So let's go to the next hand. Let's see what my question here was. I'm going to go to my note on each of these. My note here is my open from 6-6. And oh, it looks like should I call a bet into 2 on the flop when here is getting, oh, I think I got min raised here. Let's look at the hand. I got min 3 bet, or smallish side 3 bet. So I opened to 115. Seemed to be in my opening range this deep, at least from the charts. Oh yeah, there was a small 3 bet, and I call. And 3 of us go to the flop. I've got second pair here. And the 3-better leads out for a very small amount. I think this is a call here. I don't see anything else. And the turn, this is the turn. So the way I look at this is now I've got third pair. Aces are in his 3-bet range. So I think I should just get away here. He bets. And I call. I think I call because I was getting 5 to 1. Mainly my thought was that he knows that an ace is in his 3-bet range, so this would be a good reason to fire a second barrel. But in hindsight, if he doesn't have any aces in his 3-bet range, then he's probably got larger pairs in his 3-bet range that he would fire another barrel out, including some jacks. I don't know, I think a fold here with no information the opponent probably be a good idea, but it was such a small bet. Want to get your opinion on that. In the turn, he comes in for the big turn bet, and of course I fold. So I think I was okay up till the turn, and it seems kind of like a marginal call on the turn. So on to the next hand. Jack Queen. Let's see my notes on this. It's a lot of work. Alright, let's see what I got here. Oh, okay, so this is just a bad bet. So I think I min raised. I was multi-tabling, and I'm still getting used to ACR, and I think I had to get a raise in opening here quick. You know, my old ranges, the non-elevate ranges, this would be on the borderline. Jack Queen suited I would open here, but not Jack Queen off. It's kind of similar to my cash opening at 74 bigs. So I think I checked and then just min open. I usually would go to 150 here. Looks like I just went uncontested. Just want to get your feedback on that. King 8, and looks like I ISO opened here. ISO raised. And you know, is that a standard ISO raise? I think this is in my opening range when I look at the elevate charts. So I don't think there was any decision points. Oh, I got 3-bet after this, and I think this was an open fold. So I'll send the hand histories, but I'm wondering if I should still be opening here. King 8, if I look at this, I am 76 deep, and I'm in MP1. So if I go to the opening ranges, middle position 60 plus, King 8 suited is in the yellow. So maybe I shouldn't be opening. I think it's a decent, I don't think it's a bad to open, but judging by this is an open fold. So any other thoughts you have on that, that'd be great. You know, I've got deeper opponents behind me, no information at this point in the tournament. Let's see what's up. 3. Now this is another big blind defense. I'm sure I have a question around that. Okay, so the small blind completes. I don't think I should 3-bet here. I think I want to keep the pot small and just check behind and use my position post flop. It's a dry board. Doesn't really hit his range or my range. He checks, so I check behind. The 2 comes, really doesn't change any of the equities. He checks. I just assume, you know, I've got a gut shot, but also basically I'm going to bet here because I see on a board like this him just checking to the river, and I'm probably going to get folds. So I bet half pot and he folds. But just want to get your feedback on that. This is a small blind defend probably. Yeah, it looks like a 300 open here. I am 74 deep and I fold. The MPT open was 17-17. You know, it's a pretty aggressive numbers, right? No raise first ins, not many hands, 69 bigs. I'm wondering if this is a good 3-bet spot. I don't think it's a call here. Consider I need 37% equity. I have 35%, and as you pointed out, I can look at these charts, but I don't think I even realize my 35% equity here. But I'll take a look. So I pulled up the hand here, and it looks like under the positions table. Oh, here we go, through first MP. Stack depth 40 bigs, suited. Ace 9, let me know if I'm using this correctly. 76%. I think I'm using this right. It doesn't have all the filters I'd think. I'd want to have deeper than 40 bigs. So, but I'm assuming that's close to what I'm looking at here. So if I go back to the hand, you know what? At 37%, I got 35%. So I don't think it's a call. I think, is it a 3-bet opportunity? That is the question. It's such a huge bet here. I would have to go to like 1,000 or 1,100, which is a quarter of my stack. I think it's a fold, but want to get your input on it. But you know, I'm critically kind of looking through these hands here to see. I think I'm missing opportunities to steal equities, and I don't think that's one. So let me go on to the next hand. Pocket queen. So this is, I think, an ace hits on the flop. So yeah, I open. You know, I'm not happy. And this is an ACR thing. I'm multi-tabling, and it's just, I hate the interface. I need to customize it. I would have opened to 150 here. I don't think it makes too much difference here, but basically I get a button defend or a button call, button flat, heads up to the flop. He's, you know, let's see, I'm trying to use this information. So folds to flop c-bet 1/3 of the time. So, you know, that's a decent number. I think, what, 67% would be fully transparent. 33% is a healthy number for him, probably. So I opt to check here. My old way of playing, I would definitely be c-betting here on the flop. I check, he bets, so I check call. Then the turn comes, and if I had bet and he had called the flop, I would have checked from here on out to the river. Check folded, but I'm trying to play what you and Abe Stalls are recommending. So I think I check and he checks behind, and the river is a check and a check behind. I just didn't see a value of betting here. There's no cards that change the equities here. Maybe if a jack hit or a king hit on the river, I could see betting, but I pretty much put him on what he has, which is a weak ace. Want to get your thoughts on that. This is Jack Queen suited under the gun. Looks like we're 8-handed. I open 135. Once again, I'd be opening to 150, trying to keep it fairly consistent, but this was just kind of a functional issue of me being multi-tabling on ACR with another tournament. I get flatted by the hijack. Could be the same opponent here, I think. Yes, it is. A couple hands later. And we go 3-way to the flop. Looks like the big blind's along for the ride too. Got a Broadway and 2 small cards. I think if it checks to me, my current feeling would be to bet here. On this board, I have a lot of aces in my. It's a good, even though it's 3-way, if I get checked too, which I do, it's a good c-bet situation. I've got decent equity, and I do bet. And I get called by the same player, and 3-way to the turn. So when I bet on a flop like this and I get called by 2, I'm usually giving up, unless, maybe if a king hit or a 10 hit, or a jack or a queen, but I'd probably check calling from there out. A 2 hits, it really doesn't change the equity of the board. I mean, maybe, there's flush draws maybe. I don't think that deeply about it at this point. I'm thinking that 3-way after getting called on the flop, that I should just be done with this hand. And I check through, and it checks through, and the river hits, the backdoor flush gets there, checks to me, and checks, and then this same villain makes a huge river bet, pot size river bet. I'm folding. That's not what's relevant here. More interested in how I should be handling these 3-way pots when I c-bet the flop. Maybe I think it's a standard c-bet there, but I don't really see positive equity in firing any more bullets on this run out. And I guess that's my question to you: would there be any runouts, or what tools can I use to? I guess PO would be a tool. So I'm going to move on to the next hand. 6-8. Looks like there's an early position open, that same villain. He's up to a 46-8 now. Only 13 hands, but that's still, he's involved with half the hands and only raising, but his raise is 8. So he's done something he doesn't do very often, which is open raise. Let's see. So I'm getting good odds. I'm getting 4.7 to 1 here. Check my notes here on the 6-8. And what are my notes? No notes. Okay, so I have no notes on this hand. So I think I call here. I don't really see, I guess I could squeeze here. I'm at 60 bigs. Pretty passive villain here, who's open though. Tight villain here, but I mean, they've called behind. Probably the key, when I think about squeezing, this is the key guy I want to get to fold, especially with this person in 1/3 of hands with no opens. This is the first hand he has an open. Anyway, I've got 21% equity. I only need 11%. I would assume I'm realizing a lot of that here, but want to get your feedback. See if there's any other decision points here. When I'm playing 5-handed, I'm looking for 2 pair or better, or 8 outs or more, and I just don't have that here. Checks around the turn. I get a gut shot on the turn. It's double suited. I think I'm just going to check. My current goal here is just check fold, so I'm going to fold to this bet. I want to get your opinion about how you approach those hands, or what would be a better way for me to approach that hand. Sorry, I'm a little tired. It's pretty late here. Pocket nines. Let's see what's going on here. All right, we got a min raise from a fairly new player from under the gun, and I have got pocket nines. You know, my past play would be to three better fold here, but I think there's a lot to be said for flatting here, considering I have position in a good hand. But I want to get your feedback on that. I do flat. And the problem with flatting here is that it goes multi-way. So the advantage of three betting here is that I could win this pot with aggression. Now, not so easy. I get a backdoor straight on the flop, but I'm going now because I haven't three bet. I'm going multi-way. And my relative position is not bad, but now I'm dealing with a pot size bet. And I call. I don't know about this call. It's a pot size bet, and I've got a backdoor, but it's three ways, and you know, if it looks like it smacks these guys' range. Let's see, we got we got this min raise here, and then just a bunch of callers, 14 and 15. You know, any 9, queen, jack, or 10, of course, or any of these middling hands. I've got the blocker to the straight, so I just look at this and go, I'm four-handed on a board with two lower broadways and three callers, including myself. I think it's a marginal call on my part. I think maybe as played, I could fold here because I don't know. I think I could be ahead. I'm either slightly ahead or way far behind. And it looks like we get three of us at the turn. And of course, this is what you're concerned about, because if I was villain 17 and I had any equity, I'd be playing this fast because of the board texture. So I'm just not going to get a card on the turn. So I don't think my backdoors are worth a lot because villain 17 is just going to play the sucker fast. So I think I burned 1,000 chips there, and I should maybe three bet it. But maybe you can show me the tools that you would use to analyze that. Could be PO. All right, next hand. Pocket threes. I'm at 33 bigs, and I open. And I think this is a fold based on the elevate ranges. I think that's why I put this hand in here. Let's see what my notes say. Yep, it's outside the EP range at 33 bigs. So I think that's just something that I'm coming to grips with. I usually open here, and the sizing I think was wrong. Or let's see, no, the sizing was, yeah, the side min, did I min raise? Hang on a second, got my things all screwed up here. Yeah, I went 2.2, yeah, 20, yeah, 2.25. So, and I think I get three. Oh, I get flatted. You know, I'm setting, you know, things just go haywire here. Of course, I think that's just a fold. 9-6 in the big blind. Oh, we get an open, 2.2 open, and a call. You know, I don't think I should three bet here, and I just can't see myself folding at 4.8 to 1. So I think what gets interesting is on the flop. Although if you think I should be defolding here, I doubt it. I think I should be calling here. It's a great defend. I'm getting 4.8 to 1 with a suited two-gapper that could really have great equity if I hit strong. Let's see, and I think he's 20-20. Pretty, I don't know, let's see. I don't have a lot of hands on him, so just 5. So this stuff's almost irrelevant. I just treat him as a standard early position open. I flop a double backdoor, I guess you could call it. It's a rainbow board. 14. This probably got good equity on this hand. I've got terrible equity on this flop, and I think I just get away. You know, he leads in for half pot and fold. I think I just fold. I think it's a good fold. Just want to check with you on that. Any tools you would use? Let's see. I don't know why I put. Oh, this is a steal. So is this a steal opportunity? I've got this villain here. 7 hands on him now. 2 in there. You know, 29-29. Pretty wide. I think there's a stat here. I'm starting to get used to these stats. Big blind. I don't know if this is relevant. float flop? No, I don't have any information on these guys. But at 28 bigs, maybe I come in for an open here from the button. I think that was my question around that hand. 10 ace. This could be a situation. Oh, I think I 3-bet here. I 3-bet squeeze against a limp from early position and a limp from MP1. And I think, yep, I squeeze. Want to look at the amount there. I squeeze. And at the stack size, 23 bigs and I squeeze, right? Yep. So, I don't know. I think maybe I should be flatting behind here. But maybe not. I really don't know. So I end up creating a bloated pot. And on a board like this, against 4 opponents in position, I'm going to be check folding unless I get more equity. And a 2/3 pot bet from the initial limper, although I probably didn't think about this at the time. This limp call from early position followed by a pretty hefty sized bet into 3 opponents. I'm going away. So I think a lot of the decisions there, questions I had was pre-flop, whether I should have 3-bet or flatted behind with ace-10. I think there's some charts on that. Actually, I think Rob showed me a chart that you guys were building that actually gave out the kind of the PO results on the web, so we could look at it to see, you know, whether we should be flatting or 3-betting. I'm learning card runners EV, but I really PO looks like it's going to be a great tool for me to break down my ranges. But I'm thinking that would be in the flat range, or maybe it's a mixed strategy. So anyway, next hand, King 5. This is probably a big blind defend question. Yes, so min raise, and I fold. But I think I can look this up. Let me look it up. So I am 73. I'm the effective stack at 18 bigs. So 18 bigs defending against a button open. So let me try this tool out here. Big blind defense, 2x, button open. Yeah, it looks like I should be defending here. But I guess my question is, and maybe this is my old school thought, is should I be defending at 18 bigs? And my answer, I think the answer is yes. But should I be defending at 8 bigs, 7 bigs, 6 bigs? Should I just be reshoving at this point, or 12 bigs? Am I getting better equity by reshoving a hand here, like King 8 against a 29-0 open? You know, this guy actually, it's interesting. 29 hands, and this is the first hand that he is opened. Yeah. So I want to get your thoughts on that. I folded, but I think this is an area where I could be defending or reshoving, honestly. Although reshoving, what I would be reshoving? I'd be reshoving, I'd be giving him basically reshoving 1800 to win 350, so it's like 6-1. Against this opponent, I think it would be a decent move. But defending looks like something I definitely should have done. Out of my 3 choices, I made the worst choice. Not surprised. Let's see, pocket 8s. Got antes in play. It looks like I open up here, so I am in early position with pocket 8s, and looks like I've got some chips. 75 bigs. Alright, so I must have doubled up. The guy, I don't know what happened. Let's see. I think I might have rebought in. That's what happened. That's funny. I think I got knocked out with pocket 8s, and then I rebought in, and then hit a straight and doubled up, and got pocket 8s again. So let's see. I open, and I win. So yeah, I guess the question here is, you know, I've got 38, 54. The blinds, I mean, the average stack here is about 30 to 40 bigs. I think pocket 8s are in my opening range here, right? Early position, the average stack. Yeah, pocket 8s is in there. So maybe I had a note on this. Let's see. I don't have all the screen in there, so you can't see it all, but I'll put it in there now. Let's see. Pocket eights. There's that hand. Let's see what the note says. You know what? I don't know. That's a different pocket eight. I don't know which hand this is. Oh, it turned out I had the wrong 8-8 hand. This is the 8-8 hand I should have had. So I'll replay this one. So basically, this is a reshove question. I've got 17 bigs, and I get an open from a 33-6 open, and you know, it's a pretty strong hand. I think it's a reshove, but I'll check. So this is 17 bigs against a hijack open. And I'll look up his frequency. Looks like he is 18 hands, 33% frequency. You know what? I don't really have a lot of information against him. Yeah, it's 1 out of 8. So I'm just going to go with a default, which would be, I don't know, at this 15. I think 15 is a good number. Be conservative. Pocket eights is a shove. So maybe I answer my own question. So maybe the question is, did I apply that knowledge appropriately? So yeah, so it looks like this is the hand I wanted, and that's it. So on to the next hand. Alright, so here's the next hand. I don't know what the question is, but I have a feeling it's a defend. Oh, big blind, Jack 10 suited. I've got 77 bigs, 300 open against a new player, no numbers. 0, 6 hands hasn't opened yet, and I call. I think there's a case to be made here. He's got 37 bigs. I really think this is a great 3-bet hand. If I 3-bet to 800, he could shove. I think it's a 3-bet fold, and if he calls, I've got a pretty good hand to play against him. So I think that's my main question. I end up calling, and I guess let's see if it's in the 3-bet flat. So big blind defense, looks like I'm up against a button open. Okay, so a button open big blind defense, 3x button open, definitely I can defend. So I guess my question is it more plus EV to defend or 3-bet here? As played, I defend, and so then maybe there's some videos I haven't gotten to yet about now that you've defended, how do you play it? And so I do know Ape Styles talked about, like I'm going to check here, he checks behind, the turn hits, should I bet now? I probably would have check called with 2 overs on this flop. So I want to see if that's the right line. Like my line on the flop was check call. My line on the turn, should it be check call again or should it be bet on a board like this? And the way I look at this board is a low card board where only an ace or a suited ace of spades is really going to want to continue. A lot of weak aces would continue. It could be in his range, but Villain's probably got a lot of, he's probably got overcards, second pairs, or broadways. So I could steal his equity here by betting the turn. He bets the turn, I call. Should I call the turn here? That is my question. And what should I be thinking about as I approach this big blind defense? Ace hits. This is an interesting card. I think my question here is, I have now check called the turn. Is this a good river bluff? I would think it might be, but not knowing, I check behind. And the reason I check behind is that I don't have a lot of aces in my range. I think I have a lot of suited spades in my range and 5s in my range. So I think this could be a good bet from that standpoint, but I want to get your feedback on that. I check, he checks behind, probably shows pocket pair of some sort. Yep, pocket sevens, not surprised, completely in his range. Question is, I had his range pretty well detailed out, but is this worth betting? I think a pot-sized bet might get some folds, but I don't know, so that's why I'm asking you guys. Alright, this is a cutoff with the suited ace. I open, I think there's going to be a, oh, I get 3-bet. Oh yeah, that's right. So this is my range to open, I think, 31 or 70 bigs. I've got 135 bigs here and 55. I think ace-9 is right in there, so we'll check just so I can do my homework here. And cut off my button. I can't remember. Cut off. Cut off ace-9 suited is in all the ranges. Yeah, I mean, it's a hand to be played, so I should play it. The open I'm happy with, 2.5. So how do you guys recommend managing this? I get a decent player, 22-11, only 9 hands. I'm not going to break it down into position. You know, it's 2.5, 3-bet. I call. I think it's a fold or a call. In position, I decide to call heads up. I get a flop with a backdoor flush, pretty dry flop, and he comes out with 3/4 lead. So I think if it had been a smaller lead, I might have called. I'm getting 2.3 to 1 to call. Want to get your feedback on it. I think this is maybe a little nitty of me to fold with an over and a backdoor flush on such a dry board. I could see queen X's and pocket pairs between queens and sixes betting here. Of course, the sixes and are going to bet as well. I don't think the 5, 4s and 3s and 2s bet here. Ace king could be betting here, but I have a king blocker. So I mean, I think there's pocket pairs here that are betting this strongly in queen X's. So I fold. Want to get your thoughts on it? Sorry if I'm rambling on here. It is getting late. The brain is working a little bit slower. Ace-5. So I open here with 64 bigs from middle position. We'll do the double check. Middle position. All the suited aces are in all these ranges. And I like that because I like playing the suited aces. So let's see what happens. Oh, I get shove. Oh, I think this is a question. I think so. I look at this, I call. So I think it's a good call. 1.74 to 1. You know, I think I have good equity against this person's range. I mean, there's a lot of pocket pairs, a lot of broadways, king, queen, better aces. But I am suited. So if I was to put a range on this, I'd say any pocket pair, any 2 broadways that are suited, and king queen, ace X's, any suited ace, any probably ace 10 and above, maybe ace 9 above. He's got 13 bigs. Yeah, so maybe a little bit tighter than that. I'd say probably 5s plus. Ace X suited, ace 10 offsuit, maybe some suited broadways, and some ace king, ace queen, king queen suited, that sort of range. So let's see how I'm doing against that range. Okay, so I pulled up a couple charts here. This is the calling all in shoves. I think this is against open shoves since I opened and then got shoved on. It's probably relevant though. Against the medium, looks like with ace-5 suited, I need 39.79%, or 35% against a tighter player, or 41%. And if I go to the hand, I'm getting I've got 36% odds. So I think I'm good to go from that standpoint. If I go to Flopzilla, I kind of pre-populated this. Ace-5 suited against the range, I put any pocket pair, Jack 10 plus, King Jack, and I get 40% equity. So it's about in line with everything. So it all adds up. I think it's, you know, close, but I think it's a call. Yeah, so I want to get your feedback on how I analyzed that. I did in fact call. Results don't matter, right? All right, so king queen is the next hand, and I think I open here at 34 bigs. Once again, not very happy with my betting, but if I remember correctly, I was multi-tabling and scrambling. Wasn't sure if king queen suited was in the ranges that Elevate has. I would not be opening here. Previously, I used to run a tighter range. So let's check. I think that's what happened. I realized that was my 34 bigs. Looks like the effective. I'm pretty much the effective here. Close enough. 34 bigs. From early position, king queen sits definitely in there. It's close though. And so I would have opened up smaller. Yeah, it looks like I win it uncontested. So yeah, I think I put a note on this because of the sizing. King 9. And so, yeah, small blinds. This is a small blind defender question. Min raise from villain 8. Got 16 hands on. 19-19. Pretty high 3-bet. Fold to pre-flop 3-bet. I don't have any information on. So I think the question is, should I 3-bet here or should I call from the small blind? I folded. Getting 2.8 to 1. So I'm not sure the tool to use. I think I have 39%, 26%, maybe that equity realization tool. So this would be against a cutoff open. So I'll put it in here. Let's see, hand type, king 9. Offsuit, it's cutoff open. And yeah, so I get 68% of that realization. I think that's correct, the way you guys have this set up. So 26 is what's needed. I have 39. 68% would be just around the borderline. So as far as a call, I think it's pretty borderline. So I'm actually okay with the fold there, since it's fairly neutral. But I'm wondering whether a 3-bet would be optimal here, since his 3-bet frequency is almost as high as his open. How would you assess that? I think I just fold, but maybe it's a fold based on him, but I want to know how to assess that using a HUD. Let's see, so A7 is the next hand. Big blind defend here, it looks like. Okay, so I think I've actually played this hell hand. I was happy with this. I 3-bet there. No information on his blind to blind. He calls. And the flop comes queen 9-5. Checks to me, and I think I continuation bet here. Would I continuation bet a 3-bet pot against all flops? No. This one I'm probably going to continuation bet on the 3-bet on everything but probably low coordinated middling cards. Or if I had decent equity on a dry flop, like if it was an ace 4-2 flop or an ace 6 deuce rainbow flop, I would probably check behind. But maybe I need to crab this out, I think, and I would do it tonight, except for I'm not going to spend the time tonight to do it because I'm already tired. But developing kind of a balanced 3-bet range. So it looks like I do bet the flop, and he folds. So would love to get your feedback. Should I use card runners to develop a good range? Not only here, this is big blind versus small blind 3-bet, but it seems like that would be a great tool to develop. Well, do I 100% C-bet when check 2 on a 3-bet pot in this position? Do I 3-bet most, except for my very weak and my very strong hands, or my draws? Anyway, that is my question. If it doesn't make sense, I apologize, it's late. All right, so this is a 3-bet defend. I don't think there's a defend here. I'm getting 2.6 to 1. I think that was my question. I think I answered it. I don't think that's a defend. Pen queen. Let's see. Okay, so looks like this is an open for me. A little bit higher than I want. I get a big blind defend. That's right. So I've got a backdoor straight, and that's it. And then he leads in for 1/3. Oh, so this is a bad hand for me. I think I answered this myself. My first mistake here is I should be just calling or 3-betting larger. And instead I make a min raise, which, you know, it's already been pointed out to me, this is just, you know, I'm not getting any folds here. And so of course he calls. And then on the turn, I think he checks to me. I think I should lead out here. But honestly, I think I should have just floated the flop and then let out here. Or 3-bet larger. But I want to learn your approach to it. I've now got a gut shot and 1 over. And the river comes and he checks, and I think I just give up. I don't really have a great plan for these hands. The previous way I would play would have been, I would have 3-bet the flop harder. And then if called, you know, I should have 3-bet to probably 1,200, 1,100, maybe bigger, 1,400, but I'm kind of restricted here. I think probably I would have gone, if I would have gone to 1,200 and then just checked it down if I got called and given up. But I want to hear what your approach is. So Ace-6, big blind defend, min raise. I fold inexplicably. I think this is a call. Let me look at the charts. Yeah, this is only for heads up, but I think this makes it even more compelling that it should be calling here, right? Considering the price I'm getting. I'm getting 5.9 to 1 to call. I think, you know, what I'm concerned about is the negative implied odds of having a hand like Ace-6 out of position. But I think at 5.9 to 1, I should just be calling here or 3-betting. So is this a good place to 3-bet with 24 bigs? There is 1,200, 1,380 in the pot. I could increase my stack by 1/3 or 33% by 3-bet shoving here. So that's my question. How do I evaluate that? I mean, this 33-33 in retrospect, this is just, I've only got 3 hands though, but so that's never mind. 3 hands is not enough. That means he's just opened 1 out of 3. Excuse me. So I'm not sure what to do here, honestly. I think I fold. I'm playing pretty nitty here. Maybe it's a good thing. I don't know what happens on this hand. Doesn't matter. 6 queen. So I'm down to 23 bigs at this point. So I think this might be another defend, small blind defend question. I fold. Is there a case for, how do I evaluate whether I should even be in here? The way I look at this now is I'm out of position with a suited hand, but a pretty weak hand. You know, this person's got 25 bigs. I could be setting up a squeeze on their part. I just get away. I don't think I realize my equity on this hand a lot. And hey, sure enough, they did squeeze. So, but it's not about results. This looks like the cooler. I think this is just, so we'll run through it though, because I want to see how I played it. So I opened here for 2.5, or yeah, 2.5. 500, just over 2.5. I get called by the button and the small blind, and the big blind folds. I flop trips. It's a pretty dry board, so I'm going to probably check the flop if check to, and call if I get bet, because there's just not a lot of cards that can really hurt me or, you know, slow down my opponents. I'm hoping they'll catch up at this point. It's a great flop for me. Not only is it trips, it's a fairly safe trips. 500. I'm going to call here. I don't see any reason to raise. I call, and the button comes along. Great. Turn comes. It's 2 to the suit, a backdoor. I mean, there's a couple draws here, but I think I'm, you know, got a couple gut shots that showed up on 8-9s, 9-10s, 8-10s. Still think I'm good here. Checks. I check. I think there might be a case made for leading here or for betting here, but I don't. In any case, I do get bet into. want to get your thoughts on that line. You know, I don't normally advocate playing hands slow, but I'm trying to stack up at this point. So I'm happy to see him. I'm going to shove now, I'm sure, because I want the draws to come along. And I shove, and they call. And it's a cooler. It's a cooler. I'll show you that one. That was a bummer. So anyway, that was the end of the tournament. That is all I have. I did submit these hands for review for the webinar, but I'm going to post this as well so that Rob, you can look at it, or Ape Styles, John, you can look at this as well. And that's it. Thank you very much, guys.